All right, looks like we're ready to go. I'm so glad. I'm so glad to be here with you this morning. I know you have so much going on today and in this time period, Abby. So thank you so much for taking the time out with me this morning.
Thank you for inviting
So
me.
good. So I'm going to, as I do every week, I'm going to kind of share what's on my mind as far as digital marketing and give some tips for the people who might be listening to this. And then I'll do your official bio, and then boom, you're going to just dive right into it. You ready?
Awesome.
So
Great.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because this month coming, I am so ready. And I think a lot of people are so ready to, yes, they have to show up in their business. So are you seeing what I'm seeing? Digital minimalism
Yes.
in the book? Yeah.
Yep.
So one of the things that I have to really think about with the people that I work with, the heart-centered entrepreneurs, the energy healers and light workers, is how sensitive they are to energy and how very, very busy they are. They're studying, they're taking their tests, they're doing a million things, they're running their classes, their courses, they have families, they have dogs, they have construction to do. And going into digital marketing, as you know you need to show up, can feel like an energy suck or a time suck. And so I'm going to be focusing on giving hints and tips and strategies so that these entrepreneurs, these heartpreneurs, can show up with strategy and purpose and not have to spend so much time and energy on digital. So I'll be going through the book Digital Minimalism, Choosing a Focused Life in a Noisy World. That's by Cal Newport. And I've been listening to some podcasts that he's been on. He's the same guy that wrote Deep Work, which I'm a big fan of, like just setting your intention and setting your timer and getting that deep work done so that you're not all distracted. So we'll be going through digital minimalism in the Rise Above Noise Facebook group and in the content that I'll be sharing, whether on my Susan Finn Online Facebook page or my blog, or just whenever anybody's going to talk to me, they're just going to be so sick of hearing these words together. But I think it's going to be super good. So I picked out a couple of quotes, like, why is this important? And this guy says, to be a digital minimalist means you have to accept the idea that new communication technologies do have the potential to massively improve your life. Man, I got all the toys. I got the schedulers, I got the CRM, I've got the email. But you have to recognize that the potential is hard work. And so you have to be super strategic about it. And I'll be giving hints and tips about that. This that I loved was, so this one I think started out talking about the life-changing magic of tidying up with Marie Kondo, which has become now a verb, right? Like when you throw stuff out, you're like, oh, I Marie Kondoed that. And so similarly, really focusing in on the digital activities that are bringing results, right? So that means you got to spend a little time, figure out what your key performance indicators are, right? Is it how many people open your email, or how many people clicked through, how many people signed up for your program? What it isn't is, and maybe this is disappointing, it's not necessarily how many followers you have, or how many likes or little hearts or little floating smileys you get. What does matter, and I know you're going to touch upon this, is making time for the things that are going to bring you results, right? Doing your work with intention, making space and time for the things that are going to bring you results. So I'm super excited. I invite everybody to join the Rise Above Noise Facebook group. You'd have to join as your person. I know now Facebook allows you to join as pages, but I want to keep it personal. And so you want to join as your personal self, join the group, hop on my email list if you would, and we'll be talking about that. And kind of tune in. I'll be running a course starting at third week in September, I believe. It depends on when people can run. 6 people can join the course, and it will be focused on what are the things you need to do to show up with intention. If you put in the deep work first, and then you have these systems and plans ready to go, it feels like a comfortable sweater. It feels like that sweater you put on when you're just like, oh, I just need to put on this sweater. Like you'll have a plan, you'll know what you're doing, you know how to measure the results and move on. So I'd be thrilled to talk to anybody who's interested in starting off the fall with intention and purpose. So I'm going to get off of my soapbox and introduce Abbe. You guys probably read the introduction. When I first moved to Westport and I was looking for a place, right? Like where's my place where I'll find the learning and the spirituality and the physical work that I need, I ended up at the Nanaquacket Yoga Studio in Tiverton. And Abbe was a teacher, and so she was teaching this class, and I sent her a message, and I said, Abbe, like, I am who I am in this body that's at this age. Like, you're teaching this, and it looks interesting to me, but am I going to feel like I can't do it? And she was like, nah, you got this, Susan. And what I loved about the class that I'm talking about is that she brings in so many aspects to it. Now, she strengthened my wanting to come to her classes and check her out because she was showing up on social media as like authentically her curious, smart, wise, physically working through some stuff person. And I really, really enjoyed that. So here's the official bio. Abbe is the yogi behind MightyYogini.com and co-owner of the brand new, right here in Westport, Felix Alternative Movement Center. She's the founder of the Adventure Awaits Yoga Immersion Programs and Retreats. She's been practicing holistic healing, bodybuilding, and integrative nutrition for over a decade, and has been nominated Best Yoga Teacher by Mercury Magazine. I won't go through too much of this because I think she's going to cover a lot of it. Her superpower, like you guys, her superpower is empowering people to realize their capacity for awesomeness. And I'm so excited to talk about how you use social media and personal branding to create and serve your community and how that connects to your authentic offering.
Yes. Well, I think it circles back. I mean, what you said early on, where, as soon as you said, how do we show up on social media or work on the computer without feeling depleted? And like, that hits the nail on the head. When we can authentically convey ourselves through social media, it feels less like depletion because you just get to be yourself. And it's kind of hard to develop that voice at first. But as you said, when we develop that authentic voice, we get more quality followers over quantity followers. And they're going to keep that dialogue going. So just like how you and I can riff off of this subject, your followers are going to help keep that dialogue going and help inspire your future material. And, eventually what happens is that flow of sharing, that flow of knowledge becomes inherently easy. And you feel less depleted after making posts, and you feel less depleted after scrolling through your feed because it's stuff that actually resonates with you. But how do we get there, right? How do we get to that point? So we offer teacher trainings at Felix Alternative Movement as well. And one of the things we talk about in our teacher trainings is setting your personal intention. And you announced mine. It's, I want to help people feel empowered, like feel empowered in their practice, in their innate sense of knowledge of self-worth. So that's my touchstone. Every single post I write circles back to that in some way. So that, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but your mission statement should always be represented in your posts. So mission statement. Once you write that down, it's like, it's the why. Why are you choosing this path? It's not easy. You're not doing it because it's easy. It's, why have you decided to do this? And I've done it because I want to empower people the way the practice empowered me. It helped teach me that capacity for learning, that capacity for physical change, and really that capacity for building a mindful community that's going to help keep you supported when you pursue your passions. So that your mission statement is huge. Once you begin to think about posts, it should always circle back to your mission statement. If you were to scroll through my feed right now, every single one would have some sort of seed rooted in empowerment and empowering others, empowering yourself, or empowering your practice. So once you set that tone, that's going to help you eliminate filler. We want to stay away from filler feed. Filler feed depletes your energy. It bogs down your feed. People get sick of it. They'll unfollow you. So you want to make sure everything always kind of circles back to that mission statement.
Mm-hmm. That is so good. Now, we actually had run a webinar with Devin Grilly a while ago and about setting your mission statement, right? And I love Simon Sinek, find your why. And in fact, last week's interview too with Rebecca Reynolds Moore was on creating your business with purpose, right? So yes. Clearly, with my heart-centered entrepreneurs, with the people that I'm watching, mission is such a big part of it. And I also know that it shifts, right? Like there's that one seed, but then how you say it might change. But in your heart, even if you haven't put the right words to it, you still kind of know where you're going. And if you don't, then you don't feel like you're doing the right things.
It's so true. And you know, we put it to words, but I think you put it just right. Like your mission state might be an emotion. It might be a feeling that you cultivate. It might be something that draws up. It is helpful to try and put words to it so that you can convey it to others. And so that kind of brings me to my next point is like when you try to draw up your mission statement, and just let me know if you can see this. So you can see I've created this Venn diagram.
Yes. Yeah, we can see good.
Awesome. And so this is actually adopted from one of my favorite books on community architecture. It is called Belong by Radha Agrawal. And she uses this. She's the founder of Daybreakers, which is a huge movement right now. She also is the co-founder of Things, which is those period underpants. But she's a self-made woman, and she's created all of these businesses based off the idea of creating a social media following, a real life following that helps you find your people, not just like people, but your people. And one of the things she says that I've adopted into our teacher training and my personal life is this Venn diagram called the VIA chart. VIA. And the V stands for values. The I is interests. And the A represents abilities. When you fill out this chart, and you're like, all right, my values, you know, let's say knowledge, passion, community orientation, my interests, obviously yoga, wellness, movement, friendship. And then abilities is really key because, you know, these are your strong suits. These are the things you're going to try and, for lack of a better word, capitalize on. And for that might be like my physical practice. That might be my ability to gather people. So all of these things kind of feed into what your VIA chart is. And eventually you find your overlapping qualities. So things that are a value, an interest, and an ability all in one. And one of those things is, one, empowering. That was my mission statement. The other would be my yoga practice. That's something that's a value, that's an interest, and it's an ability that I have. And so this creates in the center your kind of personal mission statement. All of those values, abilities, and interests that overlap should be represented in your social media postings. You know, so whenever I post, as much as I'm like tempted to take a picture of my food, or you know, really you're trying to create quality content. And so within that quality content, everything should circle back to your primary values, interests, and abilities, because that's going to connect you to your people. You don't want hundreds of followers because they're not going to comment. They're not going to interact. They're not going to come to your workshops. When you can create content that represents you as an individual, those followers are going to come to your workshops and come to your community gatherings and comment on your posts and share it with their friends and help create this big, beautiful, vast network.
It's so good. I'm going to take a second here, if I can, and just show people your Facebook page. Now, this is your Facebook, right? This is your page, not your personal, because I follow you personal too. Um, and so you guys, like, how can you look at this photo and not think, wow, I need to follow this woman? But but I also look at that and go, well, here, I want to tell you guys something. So I look at that and I go, yeah, that's not happening. However, when I get to Abby's classes and she leads you, like not even inch, like centimeter by centimeter, to focus on different parts of your body and your intention, she gives you the feeling that, oh yeah, I could totally do that. But you'll have to like go with yoga with Abby, look at her writing, and everything Abby is saying right here is exactly what she's talking about. Life is a demanding journey, more often than not, demands an effort that seemingly exceeds our abilities, but here's like more that she's thinking about. So it's not just, butterflies and dragonflies. It's some really good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And circling back to, there is a really there's an easy formula to follow with your post. Typically, as you probably know, people don't read an entire post. So you want that first line to kind of grab the intention of what your post is going to be. So, if my post, that post circles back to the empowerment as well. But that first headlining kind of quote, that sums up what you're going to expand on. And I find if you write a really great, like something that really sinks in with your soul, people are going to be more apt to follow down and read the rest of your post. And a nice thing that you can do too is you can kind of track which posts work with people. And you might already know this, but especially on Instagram, but on Facebook as well, you can click see insights.
Yep.
And you can see which ones are connecting with your follower base a little bit more efficiently. And I've definitely found that when I write something and then I circle back and I create almost an introductory quote out of that. And that tends to be a grabber headline to help people, if they're interested, want to continue to read what that post is about.
It's so good. I want to tell you that from a analytics point of view, or an algorithm. So if you're writing that, and I think it started, life is a demanding journey, more. So the first two sentences, and then people had to click to see more, right? Mm-hmm. So I had a client, and she was a wonderful storyteller. She was a calmness coach and a mindfulness coach. And so she would just tell stories. This morning with my boys, and she would start out, same thing, and then she would tell this whole story, and people just were drawn to her. And she was just so yummy. And even though it wasn't self-promotional, and she wasn't really selling stuff, she got really, really high click-throughs, and then her page started to grow. So what happens is, when somebody reads the click more, Facebook says, oh, people are interested in what this person is seeing. Like, people could see it just as much and enjoy it just as much scrolling through, but the fact that they were interested, clicked read more, and then they did, then Facebook says, people like this, we should show it to more people. And you can see that in your insights.
Definitely. And I mean, that's huge. We're looking for less impressions and more interactions.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're looking for that in life anyway, right? But Facebook they are smart. They don't want to clog people's feeds with posts that appear uninteresting. So if you can create that grabber headline that really sums up your point, people are going to want to hit click more, and then it's going to bump up that position on Facebook algorithm, and you're going to be connecting to more. Most importantly, you're going to be connecting to more of your people, because Facebook is also pretty smart. They try to hook people up with shared interests,
yes.
With some Facebook pages and posts. So that's just going to help you. It's a tool that just helps you connect with more people that are really going to align with what your abilities, values, and interests are.
It's so true. And also the fact that you're doing this beautiful thing, and because you're local right now, and you're building your community, this might not be on your radar. But for people that I work with who are looking for more of a wider audience, they might be thinking they need search optimization, right? Like, that might be a thing, that they have a website, but nobody's going to the website, and they don't know how to create content. So even if they don't say, oh, I have to write a blog, if they think the way that you're thinking, each one of your posts could be a blog, right? And if you're making sure that you're putting in those the key terms, yoga, mindfulness, whatever it is that you want to get found for, it just makes it easy because it's flow, right? It's not like, oh, I got to get over this hurdle. It's like, yes, I get to share my heart today.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly it. And, getting deeper into search engine optimization. So if your personal website connects to your social media pages and your SEO settings are some of your values, interests, and abilities plugged into your key search words, and those are represented in your postings, that's going to cross-pollinate as well. So if you were to say, type in one of my posts on my website verbatim, my personal website would probably pop up because there's so much common language between my website and every single post, because everything circles back to that singular, broad but singular vision.
Right.
So,
and then you
really,
don't have to do things 5 times. You've done it, and now you go copy, paste, you make some adjustments, you put a call to action, and you're good.
Definitely. And I think also, you can recycle content that you're revisiting personally as well. So I definitely will dig back a couple of years and be like, you know what, I'm thinking about this again, and I'll re-riff it. So I'll look at it, I'll pull pieces out, I'll almost rehab elements of it, and that helps research old content that I'm still really passionate about. And also it helps with old blog posts as well. So if I have an old blog post that is getting less traffic, if I post a recent social media post, that's going to help people dig back in, and then they're down 20 posts, they're going to continue reading upward. So, but as long as it all does kind of fall under, I mean, ideally your VIA chart, it doesn't change much. My values when I wrote this 10 years ago are pretty similar to what they are now. I move a little bit differently. I encourage a little bit differently, but ultimately, those things are my keystone, my touchstone.
Keystone, yeah. You've got your roadmap. You know where you're going, and you're collecting along the way.
Definitely.
So good. I feel like we could talk all day long on this, but I want to be mindful of everyone's time. We do have one person that joined the webinar, and if you have any questions, you can pop it into the Q&A while we're kind of starting to wrap up, and I'll be sure to answer it myself or ask Abbe to do that. So in the meantime, Abbe, where can people find you? I mentioned you have your Facebook page, Yoga with Abbe.
Yeah. You can find me on Facebook, Yoga with Abbe. I am extremely accessible. If you send me a message, drop me an email, I will get back to you. This week's been a little crazy because we are opening a new movement studio that will be in Westport, and I'm partnering up with my friend and spiritual mentor, Ona Lehman. She's absolutely incredible. To know her is to love her. So pretty soon you'll be able to catch us there. We'll be teaching movement classes, theory classes, philosophy classes, teacher trainings. You can also find me at Divine Power. Actually, they're not Power anymore. Divine Yoga and Paddle, which is in Fall River. Amazing studio under new ownership. I'm so passionate about these guys. They're amazing. And then you can also catch me at Rafa Yoga and Urban Sweat, which is located in Cranston. And then social media, guys, hook up with me on Instagram, Mighty Yogini. Very accessible. We have an awesome community going, so I would love to talk to you and connect with you. And especially if you have questions, if you're navigating these waters for the first time, like, reach out to me. I love to talk about this stuff.
So good. Awesome. Thank you so much, Abbe. I will be in touch with you soon and let you know when this goes live, and I will talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Abbe.